Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you're joining us today in this live lecture coming to you from Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University. Today's date is Oye Market Day in the Igbo lunar calendar. And you know that Igbo Market Day has 4 days. And 4 Igbo market days make 28 days, which is Onwa Asa, which is Izu Asa. And today's date in the Roman Catholic calendar is July 1st, 2025. And in the Roman Catholic calendar, 7 days makes 1 week and 4 weeks make 28 days. If that is true, why can't we be following our own lunar calendar? And thank you for joining us. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Twitter. And we are live on TikTok. Join us for this important lecture. Remember that at Nkolo Mahadum, we always advise you to use your naturally given common sense, which we call Akonuche in Igbo language. Also, we are set up to decolonize your brain from miseducation, misinformation, from the colonial masters and those working for them in our land. That is why we package our lectures and deliver them from the Igbo man, Biafran and African viewpoints, perspectives, how you should be seeing things. You see things, how it is affecting you. That's why you should be seeing things and interpreting them about how it is affecting you, not how somebody else is seeing things, like how an American or a Briton or European or somebody from China or Russia or the Muslim world is seeing things. No, you see things from the Igbo man's standpoint. How does it affect you? What will you learn? How can you improve yourself? And the title of today's lecture is Why Iran is Still Standing. Why is Iran, each time you hear about Iran, Iran this, Iran that, Iran at war with Israel and others, why is Iran still standing? It is because of their revolution and understanding of geopolitics, which is a very good lesson for the Igbo race, for the Biafrans and Africans. That is why we thought it important. We thought it's very important to use the Iranian situation to show you what Iran has been doing that had kept them alive, that have helped them to sustain all the challenges that is coming to them. And before we continue, we have to advise you to please join us, because we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And also go back to our previous lectures so that you can benefit from this important information. And before we continue, we have to let you know that Iran has 13 countries, has border with 13 countries. The border of Iran has 13 countries. They have boundaries with 13 countries. On the land, they have boundary with Iraq, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. And on the coastline, that is in the riverine area, they have border with Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and Oman. You see, 13 different countries surrounds Iran as a country. And historically, Iran is a Persian ethnic group, and their language is Farsi, F-A-R-S-I. And you should know that when Prophet Muhammad made Medina his adopted city and Mecca his birthplace, when Muhammad took Medina as his city where he will live to do his work, and his birthplace was in Mecca, that resulted to the Arabian movement, where Muslims, Arabs, formed a world movement and then conquered Iran and also Byzantine Empire between 633 to 656 Christian era. So Iran is a Persian ethnic group. They are Persians. So when you hear that somebody is a Persian, is probably from Iran. And their language is Farsi. And then Iran had been existing, has been dominant since 678 BC. Iran had been existing and very dominant and very visible as far back as 678 BC, before the Christian era. But when Prophet Muhammad made Medina his city and Mecca his birthplace, an Arabian movement, an Arabian Muslim movement was formed, and then they conquered Iran and Byzantine Empire between 633 to 656 CE. Which ended the Sassanid or Sasanian Empire, which is a Persian dynasty that lasted from 224 to 651 BCE. That will tell you that Iran has been existing since time immemorial. They've been there for so long. And later also, they were conquered by the Turks in the 10th century and the Mongols in the 13th century. But upon all this conquest, Iran still maintained their history, their culture, and their way of life. And then the Safavid, S-A-V-A-V-I-D, S-A-F-A-V-I-D, the Safavid dynasty of Iran was from 1502 to 1736, which was the longest dynasty that they have in Iran. And that also started the modern Iran as we know it today, which made Islam and Shia as their state religion. However, modern Iran started from the Pahlavi dynasty. The Pahlavi dynasty lasted from 1925 to 1979. And the Pahlavi dynasty ended when the United States and Britain overthrew the civilian, democratically elected Mohammed Mossadegh. Mohammed Mossadegh had been serving in parliament and became the president of Iran from 1951 to 1953. And he was the one that was fighting for, he started to fight for Iran, started to nationalize the oil of Iran to take it from the Britain and the United States. And because of that, Britain and United States does not like that. And then they conducted a coup and then installed their own person in the name of Mohammed Reza Pahlavi in 1953. This Mohammed Reza Pahlavi became a Western puppet. He makes sure that the American companies and the British companies are the one benefiting from the Iranian economy. And the Iranian people saw that government installed by America and Britain as corrupt and not listening to their interests. They are serving colonial interests. They are serving foreign interests. That was why there was a revolution. The revolution of 1979 by Ruhollah Khomeini was the one that ended that puppet's regime in 1979. And since 1979, Iran has grown so powerful. They try to project their Shia Muslim across the Arab world. You know that Saudi Arabia is Sunni Muslim, but Iran is Shia. So that is why you see Iran has a lot of proxies in the Arab world, like in Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Palestine, Syria, and others, and even Bahrain. They have people working for them to make sure that Iran is dominant in the Arab world. And what else did Iran achieve from that after the revolution? Yes, Iran and Iraq had a war from 1980 to 1988. And it was the United States and Britain, they are the ones that were supporting Iraq against Iran. So they had that war, and that war ended in 1988. But Iran have made remarkable progress since after that revolution. Iran has its own satellite. Iran has sent its own satellite to the space. Iran is one out of 11 countries that have satellites above space. They also have artificial intelligence ranking 17th globally. Nanotechnology, they are 4th globally. They have interspecies cloning, which means they can engage in biological war. They have lasers, robotics, hardware, microelectronics, to mention a few. How about food production? By 2007, Iran has attained 96% self-sufficiency in agricultural products. This is very important, that you should know that before you can advance, you have to have agricultural revolution first, where you can be able to be feeding your people. Because without that, you will be a prey to the colonial masters and to your enemies. Other areas Iran have advanced are they now build tanks for war, rockets, bombs, guns, guided missiles, ships, submarines, helicopters, and so on and so forth. You can see that they were even enriching uranium to have nuclear energy for their people. So they have had a lot of advancement. And all these things were being built by the Iranian people. It's not from outsiders. And that is why this lecture is very, very important. And the question is, if this is a good lesson for the Igbo race and for Biafrans and Africans, you should know that you need a revolution to remove any government that is not benefiting the people, that rather is being profited by foreigners only. You should take control of your government when you see that that government is being controlled by foreigners and not paying attention to the needs of the people at home. And then you should be able to have food sufficiency, agricultural food sufficiency all over Africa, all over Biafra land, and all over Igbo land. So that if people can feed well, they can now be able to do other things comfortably. You should try to send your own satellite into space. You cannot be dependent on people to help you to send satellite to space. You should be able to produce some of the things that Iran have produced. Iran have produced, like, if you come to artificial intelligence, they rank 17 globally. If you come to nanotechnology, they are there. You come to interspecies cloning, bacterial warfare, they are there. You come to lasers, you come to robotics, you come to supercomputers and software development, they are there. You come to nuclear technologies, they are there too. These are very, 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 very important. That's why Iran is still standing is as a result of their revolution from 1979, of which they want all decisions in Iran to be made by the Iranian people, not by foreigners. Part of the reason for that revolution is that since 1979, it is the Iranian people that are in control of their destiny, not foreigners. And that is why you see all these advancements, because they have good people managing their people and their economy and their resources and trying to develop and creating jobs for their people, and their people are happy with them. That's why when in the last war, last month, the Israeli and American government said they want to do regime change by bombing many places in Iran. But instead, the people of Iran rallied around the government, knowing that what is coming will be worse than what they have right now. That they had a revolution to install the current government, the current leader of Iran, the people running Iran today. And they don't want to play with that revolution. That's why instead of them listening to the foreigners to change the government, they rallied behind their leader because they know that their leader are doing well. This is very, 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 very important. And also, if you are a country in Africa, you should be able to have your own weapons, develop your own tanks, your rockets, your bombs, your guns, your guided missiles, ships and submarines. You have to have these things built by your people and secure them. Don't involve foreigners when you are building sensitive projects in our land. Keep it secret, because it is when your people have the expertise to build those things by themselves. There's no need to invite any foreigner, because when you invite the foreigner, it is the foreigner that will go outside and invite others to come and destroy that project, that sensitive project that you have built. So the lesson from Iran is a thing that all people from Igbo land, Biafra land, Africa countries should follow the Iranian footstep. Because as you can see, Iran has boundary with almost 13 countries, which means they can be invaded at any time. And Iran has been one of the oldest countries we have in the world, and they are maintaining their culture, their patience, and their language is Farsi, and they are maintaining it. Upon all the other conquests that have conquered them, they still maintain their culture and identity. And even when others have conquered them, they still maintain their culture and identity and working together. And recently, when the Americans removed one of their presidents, the democratically elected president, Mohammed Mossadegh, because he took away the oil benefits from Britain and America. And the America organized a coup and installed a puppet on the people in the name of Mohammed Reza Pahlavi in 1953. And the people of Iran saw that the government of Mohammed Reza Pahlavi from 1953 was not favorable to the people of Iran, that it was favorable to foreigners. That is part of the reason why they carried out the Iranian Revolution of 1979 by Ruhollah Khomeini. And also the Iranian and the Iraqi war, which also took place between 1980 and 1988. The Iraqis being sponsored by foreigners, by America and Britain and others, so they can get hold of Iranian oil. So since the revolution, Iran have taken control of their oil, of their resources, and have made a lot of advancements in satellites. Out of 11 countries that have satellites, Iran is one of them. And then they have artificial intelligence ranking 17th globally. Nanotechnology, they rank 4th globally. Interspecies cloning, which is biological warfare, biological weapon, they are there also. They all have also developed lasers, robotics, hardware, microelectronics, supercomputers, software development, to mention a few. And in food production, as at 2007, Iran has already attained 96% self-sufficiency in agricultural production. Because food is the key. When your people can eat, they can be able to do other things without worrying about hunger or any food or something. So agricultural revolution is one of the first revolutions that you should have in order to stabilize your people. And that's what Iran did in 2007. And by now, they will have been almost more than 100% sufficiency in food production. So it is very, very, very important. You come to the arms race, Iran have developed a lot of tanks, rockets, bombs, guided missiles, ships, submarines, to mention a few. And this is why this lecture is very, very, very important. Because Iran also understood geopolitics. Simple definition of geopolitics is divide and rule, divide and conquer. When the foreigners come to your land, they study your differences. They can use tribe, they can use religion, they can use anything to divide you and support one side and take over your land and resources. So that is geopolitics for you. It's divide and rule. Iran understands that. That was why everybody rallied again towards the government during the last encounter with Israel and America. And so, if you are a Biafran, if you are an Igbo man, if you are an African country, Iran's direction, the way Iran has done its things is something to emulate. Something very, very important to emulate. How they removed a government that is not beneficial to the people, that was answerable to foreigners through a revolution of 1979. And since then, they have had consistent advancement. And after that revolution, they became very powerful in the Arab world. They have proxies in Lebanon, in Saudi Arabia, in Bahrain, in Syria, and in Palestine, and some other places. Iran became super powerful in the Arab world. And if you're not powerful, you will be defeated and your resources taken. That is what is going on in the war, even the war between Ukraine and Russia, where the Europeans are backing Ukraine to defeat Russia so they can go into Russia and balkanize Russia and exploit their resources. And anytime a country, a nation, a tribe is defeated, your resources will be balkanized, just like the resources of Biafran people are being balkanized today. We are not the ones controlling our resources. We are not the ones issuing licenses. We are not in control of anything because we are defeated. So you have to have a very strong country to survive in today's world, because always other countries are preying on others for survival. If you're weak, they will prey on you and defeat you and take over your people and your resources and everything you have. And with this, we shall bring it to this lecture. So please share this lecture, like it, comment, and go into all the lectures we have delivered in the past, and you'll be happy you did, because all the lectures we have packaged, you cannot get it anywhere. And we present it from Biafran, from an Igbo man, and African perspectives. How you, an African, should be seeing things. Don't be seeing things from how other cultures are seeing things. No, see things from how it affects you, because that is the world we live in. If you don't know what you are doing, if you are not planning well, if you are not producing, try to be self-sufficient in everything you need in your country, and you are dependent on others, they can use so many ways to get you and destroy you and take over your people and resources, and your name will be sorry. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. Before we do, all Africans must rise up to dismantle all the colonial boundaries in Africa, because that's the sources of all the poverty, all the wars, all the hatred, all the divisions, all the migrations that we are having in our land. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. Thank you very much for joining me today, and have a